Oh, shit. Here we go again.
The argument about like the contradiction instead of like it's how are you so like
I mean, you said that presup and transcendental apologetics is completely wrong. So if you hold that to be the case, you should be able to defend that.
Ask a question. Can I just ask a question? Like, what's naturalism being true or false have to do with the fact that there's a contradiction in the Bible? Like, it doesn't seem to be like relevant at all. Like, whether or not you assume, unless he's arguing that, like, for example, like Jesus rising is a contradiction because of naturalism, then you would have a point to discuss that. But if he's just pointing out like a contradiction, like in terms, like this verse is saying something that the other verse negates, then as long as it's not a naturalistic thing, it's fine. Like, he's not arguing against miracles. He's just arguing for the sake of contradictions. So I don't see like why that's relevant.
Yeah, I mean, but
wait, 1 second. I just want to clarify, Leafy. If I bring any contradiction, he's gonna negate it because he's gonna say I presuppose biblical infallibility. I don't grant the presupposition of like that silly dogmatic presupposition. I have no reason to be like committed to that. Now he's trying to say no, actually you should, and like any other method is silly, bro. Like just get to the damn like contradiction, bro.
Yeah. So what was the contradiction that you brought up? Wait, what?
Yeah, so I can address this, right? So he initially was going against some other guy and saying like, okay, like you're being a presup, right? You're operating from within a worldview. You need to start from like a neutral worldview and then reason from there. But that approach,
there is no neutral worldview. There is no neutral worldview.
Yeah, there isn't. But Lemon, he says that he starts with naturalistic history and that he does not presuppose any pragmatic view, which means that he does not start with the Islamic worldview. He doesn't start with like.
Are you a Muslim, Lemon?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Alright. So, okay, fine. So, forget naturalism. We both disagree. We both believe that there are metaphysical things and that they can influence in the world. So, naturalism is irrelevant. Like, you're both theists. So, this is like an irrelevant topic. The actual crux of the issue is the contradictions.
This is by the way, I want to clarify. He lied about my
No, but Lemon, you don't even need to go into like naturalistic theology. Like, this is the historical critical method. This is how secularists do it.
Look,
you don't need to do that.
No, but look, there's an issue, right? He thinks, bro. Basically, I was discussing with the guy before, right? And like the guy I was discussing with before, I brought up an issue. He negated the issue by saying the Holy Spirit guided the authors of the Holy Spirit guided the authors. Therefore, there cannot be any issue. So he negated the issue. I'm saying that's
circular reasoning. No, but that's circular reasoning. So ask the question. If you say that there's no contradiction because the Holy Spirit guided them, well, that's the Holy Spirit guiding them is the very thing that we're questioning with the contradiction. So you're just going around in a circle. So if you want to prove that it's not a contradiction, what you have to do is reconcile it prima facie on the text.
All right.
Do you understand that?
So essentially, I'm trying to explain like how to think, logic and reason, and it's clashing with like an atheistic mentality, right?
Wrong.
And so that's why
he's a Muslim.
To address, he's a Muslim who thinks like an atheist.
No, but he's not thinking like an atheist
because I don't like any like presupposition.
Wait. How's he thinking like an atheist? Ask a Christian. How's he thinking like an atheist?
Because he says that he supports naturalistic history, aka empiricism, right? Empiricism would be
doesn't make him an atheist. That doesn't make him have an atheist mentality. Like what Christian support.
I didn't say that he was an atheist. I said he's a Muslim who thinks like an atheist.
That's not true. So ask a Christian. Do you understand the distinction? Can I ask you a question? I think this will clear up the confusion. Ask a Christian. Do you know the difference between methodological naturalism and philosophical naturalism?
Well, not 100%, but naturalism is to assert that there is
so let me explain to you.
There is no spirit, and it's like molecules of motion, right?
Look, Okay, so let me explain to you the difference, and it'll clear up your confusion. So he's saying I'm a methodological naturalist, meaning that in my explanation, in terms of scientific inquiry, right, I'm going to assume naturalism is true, right? I'm not going to appeal to something metaphysical or supernatural. In my experiments, in my historical methodology, I'm not allowed to appeal to something metaphysical, because otherwise we could just do that with everything. So to keep it fair and to be as unbiased as possible, it's still biased, but as unbiased as possible, relatively speaking, we're going to say that I'm not going to be able to appeal to naturalistic phenomenon. That's a lens, right? So methodological naturalism is just a lens that we put on when we do history, right? Now, philosophical naturalism, on the other hand, is the atheist mentality, where they're saying prima facie there is no metaphysical things at all in the whole universe. There's nothing metaphysical. There's no spirits. There's no God. There is no angels. There is no love. There's no transcendentals. Nothing. Everything is purely reducible to physical properties. That's a philosophical claim. That's not a methodological claim. Methodological naturalism is just a lens that the brother is putting on while doing history, right? He doesn't believe that personally, because like he said, he's a Muslim. He does believe in God. He does believe in the Creator. So he's just putting that on when he's studying history, right? Whereas philosophical naturalism is the atheistic claim. So you're confusing the two by saying that he has an atheist mentality. He doesn't. He's just a methodological naturalist, whereas you're thinking that he's a philosophical naturalist. Does that make sense?
We are cooked. Those are the words of Saint Paisios.
Okay, we can kind of address that. So, I mean, I don't think you should be a methodological naturalist, right? I don't think that you should go and put on this lens, right? Put on this lens of, let's just assume naturalism is true in my experiments, and use that to evaluate the world around you, right? Because that would be, starting from an atheist worldview.
Now you've humiliated yourself. With all due respect to you, that you don't actually deserve, you've humiliated yourself. How have you humiliated yourself? You've humiliated yourself.
No, right. Okay, so ask a Christian, do you understand that the scientific method assumes naturalism? Like, that's one of the axioms of the scientific method that everyone uses, including Christians. Like, they're methodological naturalists when they do science.
So do you understand that?
No, but can you answer my question before you ask me?
I am answering. Right, I'm answering.
Okay.
So, in order to conduct science, right, there is a philosophy of science. There's an underlying metaphysic and underlying ontology that provides the necessary preconditions for science to be conducted. Right, there are certain things that are required, such as the uniformity of nature. Right. So do you know? So what is the uniformity of nature?
So the uniformity of nature is basically saying that the patterns that we see around us are going to hold true in other places of the universe. So, for example, that gravity will also be true in a place outside the universe, right? That's an assumption. That's not something that we can prove, but we just assume it for the sake of the scientific method. Likewise, another assumption is methodological naturalism, that we're only going to assume natural things, natural phenomena. We're only going to explain things via natural mechanisms. We're not going to appeal to something metaphysical or supernatural. That's not a claim that they don't exist. It's simply saying that when we do science, we're just going to appeal to natural things. And that's the standard axioms that we use in the scientific method, right? So if you're denying that, or you're saying that that's somehow problematic, it just seems that you're uneducated on the philosophy of science.
Don't embarrass yourself in front of me.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So basically, what you mentioned was the universal, right? So that's a universal. The uniformity of nature would be to know that the future will behave like the past. Right? That would be the uniformity of nature. But yeah, so I guess I'm just okay. We kind of move really fast, trying to think. Okay, axioms. Do you believe that reasoning from assumptions? Because you mentioned, axioms are necessary.
Induction.
Right?
Induction.
Yeah. Induction. Induction is not a truth maker. Right? Induction is not.
I didn't say it was. That's not my position.
It's going from the specific, right, to the general.
With all due respect,
from specific to general.
Wait. Before you jump to induction,
it's not like I'm unaware. Like, you're acting like I'm completely unaware of all this stuff. No, it's not like I'm unaware of all this stuff. All right, so basically,
then why don't you engage with what I'm saying instead of jumping to something else?
Is reasoning from assumptions sound? Is reasoning from assumptions sound?
Why do you think that I don't know this already? Like, I'm asking you a very specific question, and you're jumping onto a different topic.
No, you said that everyone needs to do this in order to conduct science. We all need to start with axioms. So I'm questioning your statement that we all need to start with axioms. I don't accept that.
What kind of intellectual debility, imbecility, pusillanimity is this?
Right?
What do you mean? So, wait. In order to hold up 1 second. You realize that's a wait. Hold up. You realize that's a self-refuting statement because in order to make that statement, you need to have axioms. So in order to do anything in life, you need to have axioms first, right? Axioms are things that we set down beforehand that we can't prove. We just assume for the sake of conversation or for the sake of carrying on. Like I can't prove that I'm not a brain in a vat. I just assume that I'm not, and I go on with my life. I can't prove that Descartes' statement is not real. That doesn't matter. I just assume that it's not. Likewise, we don't need scientists. They don't need to prove that God is real or God isn't real or that spirits exist or they don't exist. They don't care about that. They just say, for the sake of my experiment, I'm going to assume that everything is reducible down to natural properties. And that's an assumption on their part that they clearly make in philosophy of science. So I'm asking you, you said you have an issue with that. So I'm asking you, if you have an issue with that, you're being inconsistent. You can't use science if you have an issue with that methodology. But you're not, instead of addressing what I'm asking about, you jumped onto induction. Like, I don't know what induction is. I do know what induction is. That's not relevant to the conversation. Can you argue with my point about methodological naturalism, please?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you said axioms and all of stuff. I got distracted by a message. Someone sent a message, and then it distracted my train of thought.
Yeah, sorry about that, brother.
But,
can you unmute Suleiman?
I mean, I don't know. He's like the same person that's wearing, or I don't know. I guess I'll.
Oh, okay. Wait, never mind. Don't worry about it. Ali, come. Oh, okay, good. Never mind.
Oh, there we go.
You had the question. You're gonna say something to Leafy?
Sure. Okay, to Leafy. Okay, so we're talking about axioms, like how do you come to know things, and you said you have to start with axioms or assumptions. Because of the message, I got distracted. But so how do you reason? How is reasoning from an assumption sound? Right? How is reasoning from an assumption sound?
That's not what I'm asking you about. This conversation is not about induction, my friend. We both agree on induction, right? We agree about the problem of induction, right? I agree with you that it's a problem. That's not what the conversation is about. I'm not here to talk about the problem of induction. The brother brought to you a contradiction in the Bible, so instead you wanted to lecture him about philosophy and logic. So I'm explaining to you, and now you're telling me you have a problem with axioms, you have a problem with methodological naturalism. So I'm explaining to you that you can't have a problem with methodological naturalism. Otherwise, you have to reject the whole scientific method and all of science out of hand, which is an absurd position. So I'm asking you to deal with that again for this. I'm repeating myself for the third time, my friend. So if you can't deal with that, that's fine. We can talk about the problem of induction, but can you at least concede that you're not responding to what I'm saying? You're not engaging with my points.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, so from your previous response to this one, right, you're saying that you can't know that you're a brain in the vat.
Wrong.
You can't know that Descartes' demon, so that there's a liar God that's tricking your eyes, tricking your sense of taste, tricking your sense of smell. So in Leafy's worldview, you can't know anything.
Wrong.
Right?
That's not true.
That's not true. You can't
That's
know.
not true. Don't strawman me. Don't strawman me.
Let me finish.
Okay.
So
I'll let you finish strawmanning me.
In Leafy's worldview, you can't know the apple on the table is real. Right? You can't know if this is a big video game, right? If this is the Matrix, or if this is not the Matrix. You can't know if there is a liar God tricking your eyes, tricking your sense of smell, tricking your sense of taste. So in your worldview, you can't know anything. You can't know anything. So you have no capacity for knowledge, right? However, in the Christian worldview, right? In the Christian worldview,
Stop right there.
In the Christian, let me finish. I don't take too long. All right. However, in the Christian worldview, right? In the Christian worldview, in the actual state of affairs, in reality, right? Not your rebellious against God worldview. In reality,
I'm a Muslim, bro. I believe in God. Like, see how you're mischaracterizing?
Well, your God is very small and very, very tiny because your God doesn't.
Your God's a squared circle.
Your God does not let you know that Descartes' demon is not real.
Wrong.
Right?
He does actually. Let me explain.
Your God does not reveal to you that there isn't a liar God tricking your eyes, tricking your sense of taste, tricking your sense of smell.
Christian, now you're just being petty.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Your God does not reveal to you Your God is not revealed to you that you're not a brain in the vat, right? You don't know. You're like, maybe I'm a brain in the vat. Maybe Descartes' demon is there and tricking my eyes, tricking my ears, tricking my understanding. I can't know anything because I'm like an atheist and I reason like an atheist, right? That's your worldview.
Are you done?
My worldview
Let me know
is
when you're
not that.
done.
I don't share your worldview.
Okay.
My
So let's
worldview-
summarize your point. I understood your point. You don't need to repeat it. I understood your point. I understood your
the Christian God, he
Bro, I understood your
has
point.
made
I
himself
understood
known.
your
right,
point.
to us. The
I swear to
Christian
God, I
is not
understood your point.
Okay?
I understood your point. Can
Yeah,
I
if you
respond?
understood it, if you understood it, you wouldn't debate it. You wouldn't debate against it if you understood it.
No. But that's the thing. I understood your worldview, but you don't understand mine. So let's summarize your answer. You think that your worldview is superior because your God doesn't let you know that you're not a brain in a vat. Therefore, my worldview is worse, and your worldview has more explanatory scope. That's your basically a rant, like in 2 sentences. You don't have to go on for 5 minutes. Now, the response to that is, if you actually paid attention, I wasn't talking about my worldview when I talked about the brain in the vat, right? So next time, you should actually listen to what people believe instead of assuming things that they don't, right? So I don't believe that I'm not a brain in a vat. The chance of me bringing a brain in a vat is 0 because I'm a foundationalist. I don't need to prove negatives in order to believe that they're not true. I'm simply saying that that's a possibility that I can't disprove. Just because I can't disprove something, like the moon could be made up of cheese. I can't disprove that right now. That doesn't mean that it's true. That doesn't mean that I have to believe it, right? I'm a fallibilist, right? Do you know what fallibilism is? I don't think you do, because if you did, you wouldn't be making such stupid points. Right. So just like I have the same, I don't know if you're a foundationalist. I'm a foundationalist. I believe that there are foundational beliefs that ground all the other beliefs that I have. That's my theory of epistemology. So I don't need to disprove Descartes' demon or disprove that I'm a brain in a vat in order to be like, oh, well, actually, I'm not sure. No, I am sure. I'm not a radical skeptic because I don't start from the position that I have to disprove everything. No, I start from the position that there are things that I know, and those things that I know ground the other beliefs. And based on that, I have to... Whatever proposition I have more reason to believe is true is what I go with. I don't need to disprove all the absurdities. If there could be a unicorn up in Jupiter, I can't disprove that possibility. It's a possibility. Does that mean I have to believe in it, or that I'm not sure whether or not that's true? No, I need to see the evidence that there's a unicorn before I believe that there's a unicorn. Do you understand that point? So if you would stop strawmanning my position and actually deal with the substance of my argument, you wouldn't be making such a big fool of yourself. But because you're an incompetent person and a dishonest person, what you're going to do is go back to doing the same thing and pretend like your worldview is somehow better. It's not, my friend. The Christian worldview is nothing special. So instead of dealing with the arguments against the Bible, and instead of dealing with your statements against the axioms of science, so you've rejected the axioms of science. So basically, you've rejected all of science, and you've proved that the Bible is weak because you can't defend clear-cut contradictions in it, right? And instead, you have to resort to circular reasoning. So I mean, this is just embarrassing. Can you deal with the substantive arguments that we've laid out for you, please, without strawmanning the other person's position? Hopefully, I've clarified that. Now, if you go back to saying the same thing which you were saying, which is that, oh, I can't disprove Descartes' demon, I'm just going to laugh at you. I'm just going to laugh at you and say you're disingenuous. Go ahead.
Might as well just go ahead and laugh now.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at a few different stuff. All right. So you said that a possibility came to prove that you're a fallibilist, foundationalist, and that you have foundational beliefs that ground all the other beliefs that I have. Saying that you don't start from the things that I know. These things ground other beliefs. Okay, so what are your foundational beliefs that ground all your other beliefs? What's the foundational beliefs?
That there are states of affairs, that things exist, and from that I ground all other beliefs. What's the problem with that? Now, can you deal with the arguments of the contradictions in the Bible and the rejection of the entire scientific method? Can you deal with those 2 points? I'm still waiting. Like, we're all waiting for you to deal with those points. Instead of talking about epistemology with someone who's far more educated than you and trying to pretend like you're trying to school me on epistemology and transcendentals, how about you actually deal with the substantive points that I'm bringing against your worldview? How about you do that? Yeah, so ask a Christian, right? I'm going to make things very simple for you. Whatever your theory of epistemology is, that's my theory as well. Whatever your theory of epistemology is, that's my theory as well, right? Whatever it is. If you say you're a coherentist, fine, I'm a coherentist. If you say you're a foundationalist, fine, I'm a foundationalist. Whatever you believe, whatever your metaphysic is, or whatever your theory of epistemology is, I'm going to copy-paste yours, all right? Now, can you please deal with the contradictions in the Bible? Is that okay?
Okay, so welcome to Christianity. Do you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
Gosh. Are you mentally disturbed? Are you be smoking crack? يا كذاب. طيب. Are you مجنون? أعوذ بالله من ذلك.
Bro, this guy. This is embarrassing, bro. This is embarrassing, bro.
You're accepting my epistemology.
If I accept your epistemology, it doesn't entail Christianity is true. It doesn't entail Christianity is true. How does your epistemology entail Christianity is true? How does your epistemology entail Christianity is true, you monkey?
Well, I don't appreciate insults or swearing. So the rules are no insults, no swearing. Right? If you
I won't insult you. Okay, fine. I'm sorry for insulting you. Can you please answer my question? How does your theory of epistemology necessitate the Christian worldview being true? And which Christian worldview specifically does it necessitate being true? Does it necessitate the Catholics are true? Does it necessitate the Orthodox are true? Does it necessitate the Oriental Orthodox are true? Or maybe the Protestants are true? Which worldview do you think your theory of epistemology necessitates that becomes true? And how does it follow logically? You can't answer that question because you know it doesn't. So that's why you're laughing like a retard. Oh, sorry for insulting. I take back the retard part. Everything else is true.
I don't know. You keep on insulting, so I might.
No, I said I take it back. I said I take it back. Everything else I keep, but just get rid of the last part because I spoke out of hand. Everything else I keep.
No, you
it's been an hour. Can we please address the bloody
Can you address the points? Can you address the points, please?
Oh, this is so boring.
What's this debate about?
Yeah, what is this debate about?
Epistemology.
You're making me look bad.
How do you come to knowledge? But yeah, so essentially, the Christian God, right? There's only one God, right? Yahweh.
We believe that. We believe that too. How does that necessitate your worldview is correct, my friend? My friend. Very simple. You
accept Yahweh? You accept
No.
Yahweh?
I accept that there's one God, but I'm trying to. You made the claim that your epistemology necessitates that the Christian worldview is true. So I'm asking you, spell out what is your theory of knowledge, what is your epistemology, and explain to me how it necessitates that your Christian worldview is true. Okay, stop rambling about other things. Stop preaching. I don't care about your preaching. Explain to me how your worldview is necessarily implied from your theory of epistemology. That's what I want to know. Please answer that point.
Sure. So yeah, so the Christian God, right? Yahweh's attributes are the necessary precondition for human intelligibility. If you reject that, you are engaging in constructing a rebellious worldview. That is, I subject that.
You're just asserting that, bro. You have to prove that, my friend. You have to prove that.
If I subject that to internal critique, then we will see that you cannot account for the things you take for granted. So you need Yahweh. You need the Christian God. So since you want
to adopt, you're just asserting that. Why do I need Yahweh? Wait, why do I need Yahweh? Wait. You're just trying to do like a really bad like Jay Dyer impression. You know how
your sins. You don't accept my epistemology. So,
no.
So you accept Jesus shed his blood on the cross for your sins.
No. So ask a Christian. Do you understand that you're just doing like a really bad like Jay Dyer impression where he does like the transcendental argument for God's existence? He's just doing like bad like presuppositional like apologetics. Like this is just embarrassing, my friend. You didn't answer my question. You just asserted what you believe. You're just saying I need Yahweh. You're not giving me any meaningful metaphysical necessitation for why I need to accept your concept of the one God. Why can't I just accept the Islamic concept of the one God? Why do I need to accept your concept of the one God?
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
So here's what you need to do, my friend. Step 1. Explain what is your theory of epistemology. First say, I'm a foundationalist, I'm a coherentist, or I'm whatever I am, right? Explain what you are. Then what you need to do, spell it out clearly. That's step 1, right? Step 2, explain how that theory of epistemology necessitates your specific Christian worldview. Explain that leap, how that necessitates your Christian worldview. If you start by preaching again about the Yahweh and the Christian God, explain to me why Yahweh is necessary. Why is he the necessary precondition for everything? You haven't explained that. You just asserted. You need to give a justification for why you believe that. Otherwise, you're just going around in a big fat circle, my friend. All right? And it's embarrassing. Everyone can see it. So stop doing the bad Jay Dyer impression, right? Stop doing bad presuppositional apologetics. Actually justify your worldview and support the claims that you're making. Otherwise, you're just bringing out assertions. I can assert things too. That doesn't make me right. Okay, please address the points that I've laid forward. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So, sorry, I just like my thoughts go very quickly like water. Like I have thoughts and my thoughts just go like south really quick.
No wonder
Alright,
why you're
genius.
presuppositionalist, bro.
Alright,
No wonder.
genius.
He's getting wonder.
My thoughts are evaporated.
You basically you wrecked him so bad he
Evaporated.
has short-term memory loss. That's how bad you wrecked him.
Okay, ask Christian. Look.
Everyone be nice. Be nice. Everyone.
Okay,
Be nice. Let's let
Ask the Christian,
the
please
Christian
answer
talk.
the objection. Okay, ask the Christian, please answer the contradiction. Why does Matthew contradict Luke?
There's no contradiction. And
No, wait, you didn't even let him answer my question. Wait. Ask a question. I laid out like a nice 3-step plan for you to follow. You haven't followed anything. Can you please follow my 3-step plan to support the claim that you made before you jump into contradictions? Because now you made a separate claim and I want you to support that claim. So you said that Yahweh is a necessary precondition for explaining everything, theory of knowledge, epistemology, transcendentals. And you just asserted that with no justification. So can you give me a 3-step plan? First, explain to me what your epistemology is. What is your theory of knowledge? Outline that clearly for me. Then explain how that necessitates your specific Christian worldview as opposed to all the other ones, right? And make that jump. Justify that, right? That's what I'm asking you to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Please do those 3 steps, right? I've outlined them for you explicitly instead of just asserting things, right? Then we can jump into how your gospels contradict each other. Okay? Very simple. That's what I want to hear from you. If I hear anything else, I'm just going to laugh at you. I'm not going to engage anymore if you don't answer my questions.
Hey, laughing would be a bit rude. How about I don't know what to say. Okay, everyone. Wait, hold on. Let's. I think he's talking.
No, let him answer.
Everyone stay silent. Let's let this guy answer. Let's see what he's gonna say. Directly, everyone pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like necessary conditions. All right, so for necessary conditions, the attributes of God are the necessary preconditions for infallible knowledge, or knowledge that you could not, right, be wrong about. In Islam,
Why? Allah justify that. Justify that. Ask a Christian. Yeah, because you're not answering my question. I'm interrupting you because you're not answering my question. Ask a Christian. I'm asking you such a simple question. Ask a Christian. Listen to me. Wait, guys, please. Guys, what? Please. Calm down.
Right. I might switch to talking to someone who's more honest if this continues.
No, just calm down for a second. You're just going in a circle, my friend. So I'm going to stop you short before you just give me your same speech that I've heard before. I'm asking you to justify why you believe that. I'm not asking you to regurgitate what you already said. So if I say Allah has all the necessary attributes to explain the theory of knowledge and all the transcendentals and whatever, I'm just asserting that, right? I have to actually prove that, right? So I could say the same thing about my God. And you would say, what would you say to that? If I said Allah is the necessary precondition to all the theory of knowledge and that's why you need Allah, what are you going to say to me? I'm just asserting that without any evidence. I'm asking you to justify your belief that Yahweh is the necessary precondition for everything. You're not proving that. You're just asserting that. I don't think you understand the difference between proving something and asserting something. Did you clock that in? Did you clock that in?
He's too busy typing in the chat to clock in.
Guys, let him speak. Let him speak. Go ahead. Go ahead, Oscar.
Okay,
Give me a justification, please. I don't want to hear you asserting the same thing you believe. I'm asking you to justify why you believe that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So essentially, you're going the wrong order about it. Right? You're trying to justify the attribute of God.
Oh my god,
bro!
So you can't justify it. Wait. So you can't justify it. So you can't justify it.
No, you're confused. You're confused about the nature of knowledge, right? You're confused about the nature of reason, right? So there is autonomous reasoning and theonomous reasoning, right? Autonomous reasoning failed, right? David Hume couldn't make it work. Immanuel Kant couldn't find success with it. Aristotle didn't work for him. But theonomous reasoning would be, appealing to the attributes of God as a necessary precondition.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So if I appeal to the attributes of Allah, why is that? Wait, so if I appeal to the attributes of Allah and I say Allah is the necessary precondition for epistemology, rationality, and transcendentals, how is that claim any more valid than your claim? Why is that claim any less valid than your claim?
Because like you believe.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
You believe in Allah, and you told me that you told me that you don't know if you're a brain in the vat.
Bro,
I just explained this to you. I just explained this to you. I literally, everyone heard me explain that I didn't say that. Everyone heard
are you serious?
Every single person here heard me explain that I did not say that, and that I do believe that, and I'm a classical foundationalist, and I'm a fallibilist, and I don't believe that I'm a brain in a vat, and I believe that you can know that you're not a brain in a vat, and I believe that because I don't start bottom down, I start top up, right? So I don't need to disprove things that are impossible or that are unlikely. You need to prove that they're true. So for someone to make me believe that I'm a brain in a vat, they would have to give me evidence for that positive proposition that I'm a brain in a vat for me to believe it. I wouldn't have to disprove it. That's how I know I'm not a brain in a vat. And I've explained this to you before. So the fact that you're repeating this again shows how disingenuous you are. You're disingenuous and you're unable to answer the most basic questions. This is embarrassing, bro. This is embarrassing.
Bro, how high is this guy right now?
Okay, so ask a question. I'm basically done talking to you because you're a disingenuous, uneducated person who doesn't know how to answer questions and who doesn't know how to justify the axioms of the worldview. Instead, what you have to resort to regurgitating what you believe over and over again, because like a trained monkey, because you don't understand how to justify the things that ground your worldview. I'm asking for a justification, and what you keep doing is referring back to the same assertion that you've been repeating like on a script over and over again. The fact that you can't see that is embarrassing. And the fact that anyone takes you seriously is also embarrassing, right? So I'm done talking to you. Have a great day. Have a great life. Go actually study what a justification means and what an assertion is. Then come back and talk to me. Thank you very much.
Dot.
I guess, yeah, enjoy your class.
Are you gonna take that? Like,
You're finished. Wallahi, you're finished.
ابتسم واستقال ودور الأمجاد طال ما تولى ما توالى بادلا نفس وملا قال إليك شهابا